So this is Tom here with Brutalitopia, and here talking to Horrendous before their show at Saint Vitus on November 9th, touring with Deva and Tumult in support of Idol for these record release shows. What's the second night of the tour?
Yep.
Right? Little mini Northeast tour, but that's okay. That's cool. You guys just introduce yourselves real quick.
All right. This is Matt. I play guitar, do some vocals.
It's Damien. I do guitar and vocals as well.
My name's Alex, and I play bass.
Okay. So, you guys are up to album number 4 now. It feels like these albums are coming out kind of quick. It feels like forever ago that I heard The Chills for the first time. And that was like a really cool debut. And you guys, I felt like, really hit your stride when I first heard the opening to Ecdysis. And, I'm like, that tone, that like buzzy tone. And I'm like, what the hell year is it? How did you guys do that? And how is this from this country? Just give me a little background as to your sound and who your biggest influences are.
I can start. This is Matt again, and also we had Jamie joined us. So you want to say hello to
Hey, Jamie.
It's hard to say because I think because as music listeners we're all just being really interested in various genres and evolving as music listeners, I think our influences are always changing. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Jamie and Damien can speak more to this, but in the past, right, when we were starting out, but even before The Chills for Sweet Blasphemies, Jamie and I we've always played together because we're brothers, but we were more into punk and, as far as metal was concerned, more of like the Bay Area thrash bands and old school metal,
like Iron Maiden
stuff,
yeah.
Judas Priest, all the heavy hitters, and kind of not really that into old school death metal. Honestly, it was like Slaughter of the Soul and like In Flames and shit.
I feel like we just didn't even know what those bands were. They just like weren't on the radar, honestly.
Yeah. A lot of people like I can even say myself as a listener, like on the way in here, I was listening to Firepower and Cruel Magic, just like in that same vein,
yeah.
right? And that's where I started, and I was like frightened of death metal, or really didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like albums like Scream Bloody Gore and Human, and then like even like more like you're talking about Slaughter, I was talking about Heartwork for myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I started to like really get into like the Sweet Death and all that other, and it was fantastic. So everybody starts different places, but then they kind of maybe end up at the same place.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
A microcosm,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just a question of always wanting more and always looking into more things and finding out what else is out there. And for us, Jamie and I were into like Death at the time, I think, and who I still is probably my favorite of the bunch. But Damien was really deep into the death metal scene, as he can tell you.
Yeah, I mean, back then I was going through a phase where I was like finding the most obscure old school death metal that I could find, basically. So yeah, I was really into that at the time, but I had a broad range of influences back then too. I mean, even American death metal bands like Death or Carcass, tons of melodic death from anywhere. I think that's something that we all had in common. And then, yeah, we just sort of blended all those things together and created sort of a unique combination, I think, on the demo.
It's pretty unique in this regard. And it's funny, I just talked to another local guy, not that long ago, I interviewed Austin from Outer Heaven at our local spot, the Meat Locker in Montclair. And talking about albums like Spheres, and I kind of really got a Spheres vibe when I was listening to Idol.
Oh, okay.
Definitely a lot more like technical. I don't know if that's like intentional, but Matt was talking about wanting more. Maybe it's just a little bit more technicality to the sound. Maybe that's what you're looking for as far as the like more in this sense of the word.
Yeah, I think it's, in a lot of senses, it's when it comes to our new music, it's just a question of how can we build off of what we did last time, and how do we take a step forward. And this happens to be, I think, the direction it went in this time, which I think is partly because of wanting to outdo ourselves and partly because of how we were all feeling at the time. And I think that the music is definitely a reflection of struggle and feeling boxed in, I guess, and I think it's a reflection of that feeling, I guess. I said the word feeling 100 times. So I think someone else can dig over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for me as a newer member too.
But to amend my statement, I think it's
About how you were feeling?
Yes, I think the album itself is I think the listening experience is semi-overwhelming, and that was intentional to a degree. It's supposed to be a bit more claustrophobic than our other albums were, and especially like you're talking Ectasis, where we were kind of trying to be a big an 80s version of death metal, basically, and doing this big grand thing. I think this reflected that feeling of being overwhelmed and being uncertain and this sense of struggle, and I think that comes through in the listening experience. And I think it's not necessarily an easy album to hear the first time through, I think, just because there's so much going on and so many twists and turns. But
yeah, it was definitely like some of your other albums like hook right away, and I mean maybe that's more unintentional, but there's definitely like more to get out of music like this, and when like first getting into black metal, like re-listen to things like that, and then you're like, holy shit, that was there the whole time. How does that all happen? And it's like, I'm impressed with the direction. I know you guys are like taking, like, I don't want to say a leap of faith, but certainly, you know, a little bit of a different direction than you normally would be doing. But yeah, I mean, all signs are pointing, you know, towards good things for Idol. You know, the press I've seen for you guys has been very good, and that's not all that surprising, honestly. So as far as this tour, I mean, you're touring with some buddies. You know, Deva, you got some local guys there. You have Steve and Enrique. So how did this little tour come together? And you know, I mean, it's only like day 2 into it, but you know, what's the outlook? How's it going so far?
you got it. I mean, it's pretty much you that was the mastermind.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to do an album release tour, but we didn't have time to do like a full tour, so we figured like a long weekend would work, basically.
Suffice, yeah.
And we wanted to get some support that would be bands that we actually like and don't have to like leave the room while they're playing because they're, you know. I mean, like, you know, we want to play with bands that we actually enjoy ourselves and like want to see live and like
get to be fans yourself.
Yeah,
and
like, I want to play.
And
with
they just
bands
so
that,
happen
like,
to be our friends.
We
too.
respect what they're doing
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well, Enrique said you're the smartest band on the tour because he said it gets progressively smarter as the night goes on. He told me that before he came downstairs.
that's just self-deprecating, Enrique.
That's who he is.
But no, like Two Mold, like we think they're cool as hell, and like we heard they're really good guys, so we just reached out and they were down. And
I think Damien's also been in contact.
Damien's
with them
talked to
for a
them
while.
too.
Yeah, I've just
Yeah,
been emailing back and forth with Derek before.
Just made sense.
But then like
organized
we
it.
needed another. We wanted to do another band, and like Diva seemed like a good option because they're they haven't really done any tours. They've done a couple.
They did Migration.
I think that was the one performance they
that
ever
was
done,
the
as far as
one-off,
I know. And like we're very good friends with Enrique and Steve, so we figured maybe they'd want to do it, and they did. So we were like, that sounds like a cool bill. Let's just do that.
Yeah, no.
That's basically how it came together, just very loose. And
I think we always shoot for a varied bill too, and I think every band has their own qualities that definitely separate them from the others. And I never like going to a show where everything is the same. It just gets boring.
yeah, we definitely
your
appreciate
attention
some
can
variety.
only last. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I like the fact that everybody is in very much their own lane and doing their own thing.
It's kind of like those Decibel
Doing it
tours
that
were
way.
always like, when you guys did yours, and then like those bills were always so varied too.
Exactly,
Yeah,
which I think is good. I mean, everyone won't like every band, but like, who cares?
No, and
All the bands are pretty good in their own way, so
Yeah.
It was like the time I saw King's X open for Accept. There were a lot of people that were not happy about King's X. That's at Starline Ballroom, but that was pretty fucking wild. And I love both bands, but I hear like people, some of those Accept fans were definitely not nice people.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know, there were definitely a couple of meatheads didn't like that. They didn't like Doug Pinnick for some reason.
But
Yeah, I mean, more generally, I think it's really cool because you end up with people coming to a show that they wouldn't have normally come to.
Yeah,
so.
it's too.
Yeah, just like you try to hook people from like they're here for some one band and then they're like, oh my god, like these guys are here too, and this is pretty damn amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I brought my buddy to what was it, Unearthly Trance, Wrong, and Spirit Adrift, and he became a huge Wrong fan after the show.
Cool.
That's cool.
But that's the idea of the varied bill. So that's
Definitely.
awesome. Playing Vitus tonight. When was the last time that you guys had played Vitus?
July
2017.
17.
Yeah. This is usually where we tend to play when we come to...
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I think Vitus
It's our
is
spot.
Vitus is the place that we've played the most.
The last,
shows
like,
anywhere
4 or 5
in the world.
times.
Even down in Philly, you play
Oh
over
yeah,
here?
we play here way more.
Yeah, we
Okay,
play
yeah,
Brooklyn much
it's
more.
So that's why tomorrow's a little more special for you guys.
Yeah, this is like our... Well, it's probably like our 4th or 5th overall, but like over like a 9-year span.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
we played Brooklyn probably like 10 times. Like,
Yeah.
definitely more.
We've also never been like a local band though.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which I think is a big
Just
part
happen
of
to
it.
be from down there, but you're not like the local
Yeah,
scene.
well, we jumped around some. I mean, we started in South Carolina, and I mean, there's obviously not really a metal scene down there.
Okay.
Not like there isn't other.
Not like
places,
here.
I'd say.
Yeah.
He lives
So-
in DC as well, so it's
Yeah, we were never the band.
Never had an
that-
in for Philly.
No, we didn't. We didn't start from the ground up in one place and build a fan base. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's
It's
fine.
always
Yeah, I mean,
been.
that makes sense.
It's always been traveling and going wherever people want us to
It's
go.
a traveling
we'll go
band.
and play. Yeah, the traveling
I
band.
just think about
Traveling
that.
circus.
Sounds funny to me.
Yep. Band on the run. There you go.
That's how they were riding around with my dad. But that's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big wings guy. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys for the first time tonight. After being a big fan of you guys really since the first LP hit. So
Oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
really excited. You know, I was again just because it's like a little different for you guys. You know, because of you guys, I became a huge supporter of Dark Descent when you guys were there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And Matt, you know, I met Matt at the Philly Metal and Beer Fest, the first one that you guys played. No, yeah, wait.
No,
yeah,
Crip Sermon?
Yeah,
Crip
yeah,
Sermon,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at Death Fest, and here, and Union Pool. So almost 4 times. Okay, I thought it was 3 times. As far as like the label, was it like just moving on to like a bigger label kind of thing, or to like move over to Season and Mist?
I mean, like what were the
Yeah,
decisions
just, yeah.
behind it? So we're actually still close with Dark Descent. And
Mhm.
have, I mean, only positive things to say.
Yeah, from what I hear about Matt and you know the bands he works with, it's always very, very, very positive.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a great guy, and I think for us it came down to a couple factors. First and foremost, just that our sound was straying so much from what's typically on their bill, I think, and not wanting to feel that we were boxed in by that. And I think coming along with that, the fact of who is actually seeking out bands that are on Dark Descent and what kind of listeners are seeking out bands on Dark Descent, and it just stopped making sense at a certain point because we want more adventurous listeners and people who are not necessarily only listening to
So I
metal.
guess like some boxed in, pigeonholed, like
Yeah, and
kind of that.
which is again not a crack against that label. They do
No.
they do what they do incredibly well. I think it's just a knowledge that like the meat and potatoes death metal fan may not like our newer material, and I understand why that is. And I think it was a question of wanting to put that in front of an audience of people who would be more receptive to different sounds and
Yeah.
not looking for a particular thing when they push play on the album. You know what I mean? And in addition to that, we just wanted to expand to Europe a bit more.
Okay.
Which with Season,
Got a
they're
Euro-
based,
Euro
they're based in
distro
France.
right there, right?
Yeah. And just playing more shows in the area and doing that. And lastly, they have a Philly satellite office, like
Yeah.
kind of their second in command branch is in Philadelphia.
Oh,
They're
so,
super accessible.
it's just it felt comfortable to be able to go, especially with moving to a bigger label and all the fear that comes with that and anxiety that comes with that, knowing that they're a stone's throw away and we can go and beat down the door if we had to and be like, what's going on? Which has not happened. It's been good so far, but and one of the people that works in the Philadelphia office, Gordon Conrad,
Okay.
has just been amazing too. So kind of working with him to build the band and develop a game plan, I guess, which is pretty new to us. We've just been, for many years, as a project of passion and doing it for fun. And I think we're kind of at the crossroads of deciding what we want to happen with this.
Seriousness.
Yeah, if we want it, and at least charting a pathway of what could be possible. So.
historically there was zero strategy, and now there's like a tiny bit of strategy. That's like the difference.
We play
Yeah,
we play music.
Yeah.
Come to our shows.
Yeah.
The Chills was like the Chills and Ectasis were recorded in his bedroom when I was still in college. And it's like we would come home, we'd be home on a Saturday and be like, "Should we record today? I don't know."
Yeah, no, let's drink.
Like there's this party tonight. It was just like it was just a much different attitude towards it. And because we weren't really playing shows, I think it was more of a thing we just enjoyed doing together. And once Jamie wasn't there for a little while after, kind of right before the Chills.
I left
actually
when I
came
graduated,
out,
yeah.
right? And when he graduated, he moved on, so it wasn't like we were practicing all the time. It was just this thing that existed, and we let it go on way too long without finishing it. Especially Ectasis. There was like a pretty big break of when the drums were done and we like didn't finish it. And then that album came out, and the reception and attention it received, we were kind of like, oh, like maybe we should
keep going.
be a little more serious about this now. And that's kind of where we are. It's just, I think that realization when that album came out and we've just been working a lot harder at it since then.
So, like I said, you guys are doing this short tour, and like anything, is this it for you guys for 2018, or you got things lined up for 2019, or like even just small things this year, or?
This is it for this year.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, until January.
Yeah, next year in January we're playing a show at a brewery in Virginia.
Atlas Brewworks?
A Droid Theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're doing it in. I think that guys from Atlas are helping.
Yeah, Will's
Atlas is involved, but it's
Yeah.
it's an Adroit Theory.
A Droid Theory.
At their brewery.
But we're also playing Atlas Sunday.
Well, Atlas is
Yeah.
Sunday.
All
on this
right.
tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then is it March or May?
May.
Yeah, we're playing our first European show in the
Wow.
Netherlands. So yeah, it's called
Yep.
Graveland Fest. So that should be pretty
Just
cool.
going out for the fest and heading back after that, or?
As of right now,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for now,
we
but
don't
we'll
know.
see.
We'll see how it
We're
goes.
trying to figure out because we can't tour consistently,
I
unfortunately. So we're
understand.
trying to
Decide when the
making a
best
game plan basically. Like, how do we do this the best? I don't know if we play more dates there. Or we add some US dates.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, it's also a question of we were kind of sitting back for a little while and seeing if anything would come to us first, especially if some
Tour
outlandish offer came our way.
I guess that's how Decibel was when that happened.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that's kind of
exactly.
like the
Something like
Decibel
that.
tour. Like we didn't want to plan anything for that because we had heard it might be a possibility that would happen. We're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this is the time we want to take off from work and do this thing. So I think we were waiting for that for a little while, and we got a couple offers that just weren't quite right. So
Okay.
at this point in time, I'm thinking we'll either do an extended run in Europe or maybe a West Coast run, or I don't know, something a little more lengthy though.
Yeah.
Now that we know kind of where we are and what's ahead. So.
Well, I appreciate you guys giving me the time of day. All four of you guys really do appreciate that.
Of course.
Any closing thoughts on the rest of the week and just for tonight?
just excited to play a
Yeah.
sold-out show.
Yeah, absolutely.
First, the second of many, right?
Second of
Yeah,
four.
yeah.
Second of four.
4-4. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
like 100% to me. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure. I hope the record has found people's ears well, and that they've let it sink in over time. It's a big, it's a dense record, and I think it's something that takes time to settle in the right way. So,
Well, I think when we're still hearing like new things every
yeah,
time,
we're still discovering.
I imagine the first person when you listen to it your first time, probably like, what the hell is going on?
Seconded.
It's a difficult listen, man. It is, and we've had the experience where we're listening to.
It's even difficult for us.
Well, I can
How
imagine
did that
especially
happen?
hard because you guys are on it. That's like when I have to listen back to this and hear myself.
Yeah.
Very professional.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, well, guys, thank you very much, and good luck tonight and the rest of the tour. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.